Why'd you move to the U.S. and not Europe? Because I like freedom, baby. Fuck you mean? I like freedom, and I like mass shootings that happen every day. Speaking of which, let's take a look. Here it is. 3 dead, injured, 6 injured in New Mexico mass shooting. Let's get started. It's been an hour and 30 minutes. It's time to talk about the news.
With the mass shooting in New Mexico that left at least 3 people dead and several others wounded.
Police took down the 18-year-old shooter. This was the 225th mass shooting in America this year alone. Mola Lengi is on the scene in Farmington, New Mexico. Good morning, Mola.
Well, good morning, George. Yeah, police.
It's so weird to cover mass shootings with a segue. But, like, in America, again, 250 plus, so what are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? The fuck are you supposed to do?
Still investigating what motivated that 18-year-old to roam up and down these otherwise quiet residential streets, allegedly firing at random. But authorities say the shooting appears to be just that, random.
This morning, police investigating the deadly mass shooting in Farmington, New Mexico that left at least 3 people dead and 6 others injured, including 2 police officers.
I have eyes on the suspect. He's walking south. He's wearing all black.
The suspect, an 18-year-old male, seen in this video, lurking around the crime scene with a firearm in hand. Officers say he fired at least 3 different weapons, including an AR-style rifle.
There's a person laying in the middle of the street. He's just walking in circles with the Glock with an extended clip.
Authorities arriving to a chaotic scene spanning roughly a quarter of a mile after responding to multiple active shooting calls around 11 a.m.
I got several people down. I've got 3 vehicles that are...
That's a Mennonite town where a girl got murdered a few years ago by an Air Force airman. Bizarre for how small it is. Yeah.
I got 3 people that are dead.
At least 6 homes and 3 vehicles were reportedly hit by gunfire.
Finding a bullet hole through your daughter's window was just like, my gosh.
So this is the room, went through right there.
It was traumatic to be barricaded in your laundry room with your daughter, who's one.
Per capita murder rate in small towns now dwarfs large cities, as far as I know. Yeah, it's not surprising. America is fucked up. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, there's nothing going on in small towns, so they just, like, gotta fucking make do with whatever the fuck.
Officers eventually confronting and killing the suspect. They're now looking for a possible motive.
At this point, it appears to be purely random. No schools, no churches, no individuals targeted.
Overnight, the community mourning the loss of the victims, just as 225 communities have dealt with mass shootings across the country this year.
Well, the 2 police officers shot are recovering. One was treated and released from the hospital yesterday. The other remains at the hospital and is reportedly doing well. Michael?
All right, Mola, we are doing these stories all too often.
Yeah, what do you do? What do you say? Like, you can't do anything.
Detail.
Dude, I feel like, I don't know. I thought microplastics was supposed to make us more soy and, like, less violent, whereas, like, the lead generation was more aggressive and more violent. And then I see stuff like this, and I'm like, maybe we are still incredibly fucking violent. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Can cops please just stop killing the suspect and I just don't know, shoot their knees or shoot the gun so it disarms them? What do you think, this is a fucking video game? No, man. That's your point? No, this is like incredibly valid to kill the suspect here, okay? The fuck do you mean? The dude is like an active shooter. No, I will never listen to me, okay? This is the one time where police violence is warranted, okay? They don't have a fucking built-in VATS. This is not Fallout. There's no, like, shooting the kneecaps. The fuck are you talking about? You aim for center mass and you fucking unload. You mag dump. That's fine. It's the one instance where it's fucking fine. No, literally. This is the one fucking part of policing where I'm like, 1, it's valid. This is why we need, like, a protective force, okay? And 2, totally valid and justified to use violence in this circumstance. If you are in the process of killing someone with a gun and you get shot, you're not going to see me go, oh, man, what the fuck? Now, obviously, that changes. We're talking about knives, right? Like, if someone is, like, walking around with a knife or whatever the fuck, and police have an opportunity to apprehend that suspect, then yes, they should use the less violent means to apprehend that suspect, not immediately fucking mag dump on them. If someone is unarmed, should the cops mag dump on them? Absolutely not. But if someone literally has multiple guns and they're running around and shooting and have demonstrated that they are capable of killing people and they're, trying to kill more people, yes, in that circumstance, it is a valid instance where police violence is warranted, necessary, if you will. Okay? That is kind of the reason why police are supposed to have guns. Not because they want to pull it out at every fucking traffic stop whenever they see a black person driving a fucking Kia Forte or whatever, but because, this is it. This is the one time where you're supposed to have the guns and you're supposed to shoot the guns, okay? Anyway. Oh. But of course, there is not VATS IRL. Moving targets are hard to shoot. Yeah. You can't trust these cops and what they say about motive anymore. There was cowards in Allen, Texas, still refuse to acknowledge anything about the shooter's Nazi shit. Maybe an army of 100 social workers could reverse psychology the weapon away from him. Yeah, I mean, first of all, no one thinks that, right? Like, I don't even think the crustiest of anarchists think that is like the appropriate thing to do there. If it's a violent and weaponized threat, then yes, like that's certainly valid to use force in that regard. The problem is cops don't do that in most circumstances because they are genuinely incredibly fearful for their lives. So they don't even do that in a lot of instances where there is violence that is necessary, right? In order to defend their own lives and also other people. You literally just had a chatter who thinks that? Not really. I don't think so. I don't think anyone is serious when they say stuff like that. But ultimately, why do kids have access to guns in the first place? I only can shot an air gun when I was a kid. Dude, who doesn't have access to guns at this point, dude? We're in America. You can accidentally have access to a gun, even if you didn't intend to at this point. Police aren't obligated to risk their lives to save someone. I know. So, anyway, so yeah, good police work in that regard. But again, it doesn't matter. Police are the good guys with the guns in this circumstance, right? But it doesn't matter because the killer still fucking shot multiple people because they are reacting to violence. So there is echo in your mic audio. No, there isn't. Shut the fuck up. There has to be something else. There has to be something that we have to do to actually stop or at least greatly make it as difficult as possible to have these instances of gun violence in this country. And that comes from gun control. It comes from the legislative body. There's nothing you can do outside of that. Places like California are, very good examples of how to do that. Okay? People always talk oh man, California, so much violence. It's no, motherfucker. If you look at the overall gun violence rate of California, it is lower than the fucking national average. It's lower than the national average. Contrast that with any fucking red state and you realize, oh no, actually more guns means more gun violence. Okay? Same with New York. New York State has a lower rate of violent crimes and gun violence than fucking South Carolina. But nobody ever thinks that way because they don't think about it like that because the media is constantly portraying it as the opposite. It's oh, these blue cities and blue states, they're so violent. You know what I mean?